Hello again, everybody, and we're on to the 9th of June. The wing flies no missions this day due to bad weather, but I'll still go through the squadron records and see what they did record. But before then, I'll start with this new map and give a quick overview of where we're at in the ground war. So the blue line that we see here represents the Allied positions as of about this time, 8th, 9th June. The bold red line on the outside representing the gains over the next 3 or 4 days. We can see that on the western side of the British sector, on 9 June, there was a push to link up with the Americans that had landed at Omaha Beach. And we can also see that the British 7th Armored Division has come ashore, and they're about to run into some heavy opposition down here around Villers-Bocage and tangle with the 2nd Panzer Division, Panzer Lehr, 12th SS Panzer, 711th, whatever the German is for this type of infantry division. You know what I mean. I'm not going to go look that up. And 21st Panzer. So up against this German force, even though the British had started Operation Perch, the first of many attempts after the landing to capture Caen, the British lines are going to remain more or less as we see them depicted here for several more weeks. And I'll keep the rest short and just go through the squadron summaries here. 9th of June for 441 Squadron. Due to inclement weather, no sorties took place today. 442 thankfully gives us a little more detail. A Mosquito of 141 Squadron, in trouble and using this station for an emergency landing, came down at 0300 hours and crashed into Spitfires P and H, making all three Category E, total losses, and killing a servicing commando who was warming up the Spitfire. Both members of the Mosquito were taken out alive but died during the day. The early morning patrol from this squadron did not take off, though the pilots, all at dispersal shortly after the unfortunate incident. Rained from early morning till about 1330 hours. Intelligence arranging for extra messing at the aircrew site at $1 a day, and for a supply of Pepsi Cola. Usual patrols are off, and 2 pilots on cockpit readiness. Flight Lieutenant Dowding, who yesterday made that emergency landing at AOG B1, back at noon with first-hand reports of a journey into a minefield, through crowded roads, past snipers, in a duck, that's an amphibious vehicle that was used at the time, trying to find a returning boat, and the hospitality of those encountered, returned in a motor torpedo boat. PROs, I assume that's Public Relations Office, Canadian Press, and CBC officers dropped in to interview Godwin and Dowding, and I've been unable to locate any press reports from that interview, although I do have for tomorrow some newspaper accounts of the activities. So let's go ahead and go to 443 Squadron. Weather cloudy with light rain most of the day. Visibility poor. Squadron on readiness throughout the day. Flight Officer Henderson returned safely to the squadron from the Allied beach in France where he had crash-landed on June 7th. Henderson had met some Canadian soldiers immediately after he left his crashed aircraft and states he was looked after very well, nil flying. And there was a mention of servicing commandos earlier. That's the coolest name in the world for an aircraft maintainer. We're going to get to see them in action tomorrow as the wing makes its first landing at AOG B3 at Saint-Croix-sur-Mer, where these servicing commandos had come ashore and were ready to rearm and refuel aircraft on the continent. So that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.